Cable, Netflix, Peacock, Hulu, HBO, ESPN Sports, YouTube, Apple TV. Man, has television become a tool for you to use, or are you just a tool for it, guys? Join us today as we answer the question, is television your tool, or have you become its? Men in the Arena Army, we salute you. Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Men in the Arena podcast. This is Equipping Men in 10. I'm Jim Ramos, your guide and host of today's #1 podcast for Christian men on Spotify, guiding you to your best version in that stress bubble of life and beyond. Guys, I want to jump into a hero story before we get into the meat of the podcast. As you know, our hero stories are supplied by you, and we're collecting 365 of those this year. These are stories of transformation, or if you're a wife listening or somebody else listening, a story that you've noticed of the transformation of somebody you care deeply about. When we use yours, we'll send you some swag just to say thank you. And this week's story is number 88 out of 365 that we are collecting for this year. It's from Will on Instagram, and Will writes, "The Men in the Arena has taught me that being a Christian doesn't mean suppressing the masculine side of me." Man, thanks so much, Will, for that comment. We want to help you out if you hit us up at info@meninthearena.org with your physical email address. And second of all, how sad that he just discovered that the church teaches that somehow to be a follower of Jesus, you're less of a man. That's really bothersome, but man, I'm so glad, Will, that you've broken free from that lie. Today, I want to jump into the meat of this podcast. In 2015, a survey was done that discovered that by far Americans spend more time in front of a TV monitor than any other people group in the world. 274 minutes a day in front of TV monitors. According to the Nielsen report, the United States adults are watching over 5 hours of television per day on average. That means that an American will spend 77 days out of every year staring at a TV monitor. That's not including your phone, your iPad, or your computer. Older people watch more at 50 hours per week, and younger people are less, of course, but they spend 20 hours a week in front of a TV, and those numbers go up during the wintertime. That's 9 years in front of a television screen for a 65-year-old adult. 9 years. Now let's put that in perspective. If you live to 80 years old, you've basically surrendered almost a decade of your life to the God of the television. And also, another thing to note, that across all cultures, television consumption is associated with an inactive lifestyle and obesity. It used to be that TV is what you did when all other options ran out. But today, being in front of a television screen has become our default setting. So here's my question, guys. When you are at home, what is your default setting? When you get home, where do you go? Do you go to your kids? Do you go to your wife? Do you go to the gym? Or do you walk in, grab a beer, grab a drink, go right in front of that computer or that TV screen? So that's an important question to answer. Has the TV become your God? Think about that real quick. Do you spend more time in front of your television than you do serving the Lord? These are things we have to ask ourselves when we seek to determine what we really worship. We can say we worship one thing, but what do we really worship with our time, with our talents, with our resources? So here are some things I suggest as far as the television is concerned. For you guys raising families, you got your kids in the home. First of all, set television boundaries. Have set times when the television is accessible. Here's one for you. I was just talking to some guys the other day, and they have TVs all over their house. Limit your TV monitors to one per house. One per house. And make that place where the TV monitor rests a public place that all of your family can enjoy. Leave the TV off until a certain time, or you can reward your children or reward yourself with time in front of the TV for doing X. And last thing is, I would say get rid of all cable and don't pay for any movie apps. I would just say get rid of it. It's not waste. It's not worth the time for your children. You can get all your information in other places. Hey guys, I know this is a short and sweet podcast episode today, but I wanted just to throw that out there. I wanted to give you some food for thought, something to chew on the next time you sit in front of that television screen, kick back and relax and burn 3 hours of your life away. Hey guys, if today's podcast episode helped you, make sure you click that subscribe button. We have a lot of guys that listen to our podcast without subscribing. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast. That gets us up in the rankings. That helps us to expose our ministry to more people. Man, we sure would appreciate if you would just click that subscribe button today. Guys, until next time, feel the wet sand on the arena floor. Hear the deafening roar of the crowd. Taste the sweetness of victory. Smell the stench of battle. Get in the game. Get dirty. Grind it out and be a man.